is a 10
I'm
there
Laura
on
Clark. Now
BBC
here's
One.
the news.
It's certainly right.
This is CNN
Tonight,
breaking
at 10,
news.
a culture of fear and intimidation
Four
was found
shots
in
were
some
fired
schools
at the
in
president.
Birmingham.
I am not into politics. So just thought I'll start off with a disclaimer, so you are aware that my utterances will be much tamer than, say, an activist with an axe in his hands and vernacular that speaks danger. Because that will be brash, and that reinforces the idea that black is a synonym of real danger. But I am not into politics, so you can relax. I am not into politics, but occasionally you can find me on a march, with my fist perfectly arched, and my throat possibly parched, because I thirst. I thirst for a drop of equality, for my melanin tone, for the feminists and little Jerome, in a wheelchair that yearns to see what feels fair, instead of being told, it's not for you, sit in a corner or just disappear. Because inclusion is a club with a strict entry policy. And guess who's not allowed in? I would tell you, but as I said, I'm not into politics. I'm not into politics, but you will see me on a street corner with disengaged youth, conversing about the will to change you. But they counter-argue with, it's easy to say for you. Why don't you take a walk in this black hoodie, tracksuits, and perfectly laced boots? Wait for the sun to go down and get mistaken for a silly, enraged youth. Because there's no more youth clubs where we used to migrate to get creative and unleash this energy that's been seeking escape routes. So you tell me, is it that easy to change you? In my position, what would a kid with some brains do? I will tell you to organize, strategize, and combine positive energy while you vociferously demanding a change too. But that would be way too political. And as I keep telling you, I am not into politics. I'm not into politics, but I understand the politics of black commercialization. Monetize my cool on the non-black demographic, but demonize the true originators with this black-on-black media topics. I'm not into politics, but I can't help but feel alien when I walk into areas where my younger self held memories and fancy beard wearers in dungarees never wandered down this part of town. Cause it wasn't cool, and it was full of minority black and Asian pool, whose presence tends to lack if you just take a walk and a slight glance into these fancy cafes that's newly built. And since I'm not into politics, I only see it as an act of beautification, instead of a more political view of a systemic gentrification. I'm not into politics, but I tend to wonder, when I'm in the prisons delivering work to brothers younger, they tend to assume that I too belong within these four walls. Because, look around, it's all us, different shades of blackness. Is it because the fathers tend to be absent? Or is there a bigger agenda with the black disengaged youth that siphon into the criminal justice system as quick as Usain's boots? I would know if I was into politics, but you and I know the answer to that, right? I am not into politics, but I can't help but think. This construct called race has caused us more hate than the love that's evident deep within the diversity of the beautiful faces that brings vibrant colors to this monochromatic palette of life they don't want us to be embracing. If I was into politics, I would have served this food for thought all along. Because you won't need to be a pescatarian to know there was something fishy going on. Because the same countries we refugees hail from was once known for massive wealth and riches. And somewhere down the line, they managed to convince us with their clever artifices to hand it all over, and we'll apportion it out to you when we think you need it. And we'll get a pat on the back for being such relievers. Ain't that so clever? Look at us, the massive overachievers. Since I'm not into politics, I hope by now you are convinced that through my incessant repetition of this truly genuine phrase, you can now invite me into places where real decisions get made. So I could tick that box for the BAME, and you could be rest assured I am not the enemy. So I will be compliant and never rock the boat, because I am not into politics. So just don't count on my vote.
5 schools have been placed in special measures after an investigation
For 35 years, we've been everywhere.
Has been illuminated.
This is one pocket of turmoil in the Egyptian capital. On every story.